Okay, now we're going to talk about stance. Every throw begins from the feet up. So let's start with having the feet approximately shoulder width apart. I also like to stagger the feet a little bit. This is going to allow us to get a little bit more depth away from the center on our first step. The next thing we want to talk about is his knees. We want to have a good athletic bend in our knees. However, with any quarterback, we want to stand in the pocket as tall as possible to maximize our vision. So just a slight bend. Now this will be dictated in part by your center and how high he lets you stand. The last thing we'll talk about is flexed arms. The flexed arms will allow give with the center. If something happens and we're forced to go forward with a snap, or if we need to go back with a snap, we have a little bit of margin for error and are able to adjust to the snap. Finally, we'll talk about having a neutral back. A neutral back is putting us in a position at the snap and on our first step to be as tall as possible. We don't want to be bowed with our back or hunched. Okay, we want to have a good neutral back. Now on our first step, again, we talked about having a stagger. We want to really avoid what is called a false step. A false step is a step that takes you basically nowhere. So as an example, a lot of guys, to try and get out of the pocket on their first step, will step forward. This is a wasted movement. We want to be as efficient as possible in getting back in our drop to maximize timing and to maximize our depth in our drop. So for the first step, we would simply push off our grounded foot to get away from the pocket.